In this video, we're going to show you how to install the transmission mount on your Jeep Wrangler located underneath your vehicle. Now underneath the center of our Jeep, we have a skid plate right here, and it covers the tail part of the transmission in the transfer case. Now there are 6 large 19mm bolts. There's 3 on this side here, 3 on the driver's side. We want to go ahead and loosen these here, but not completely remove the bolts. Let's go ahead and loosen the 3 on the driver's side. Let's loosen the 3 on the driver's side here. In the middle of our skid plate, you're going to find 4 13mm nuts. Loosen and remove those. We have all 4 nuts loose. Now what we want to do is we want to remove the 6 bolts around the perimeter. We're going to get a jack stand or post to assist us with this here. If you have an extra set of hands sewn around to help you, that's going to be better as well. Now before we drop down that skid plate, we want to go ahead and support our transmission. We're going to use our pole jack with a block of wood. We're not going to lift the vehicle. We simply want to put this here to support it. You can slide them on upward pressure on that just to support that. We're going to put our pole jack underneath the skid plate here, or our belly pan, just enough to secure it in place while we remove the perimeter bolts. Now you want to carefully lower the jack. That is going to loosen up this pan. I'm going to slowly lower this down. Once you get it down far enough that you know you're going to have clearance, you can go ahead and grab that pan and remove it. That is still pretty heavy. Now on the tail end right here is our transmission mount, and it's attached to the transmission mount bracket. Now there are 4 15mm nuts. Let's go ahead, loosen, and remove those. Go ahead and remove the mount. We went ahead and cleaned up the threads and put some anti-seize compound on those threads. Put our mount up in a place. And we're going to get the 4 nuts started here. Once we get these 4 nuts started, we're gonna come back with our impact gun and we're gonna tighten them down. Now on our mount, we just wanna go ahead and make sure that these are good and tight. With the 4 nuts installed, let's go ahead and get the skid plate ready to install. Now what we're gonna do is raise up our skid plate up in a position. We wanna pay attention to the studs coming through the pan in the middle. So we wanna keep on raising this up and get those studs lined up to come through. So as you're lining up these 4 studs in the middle, the 6 bolts on the outer edges will automatically line up. What may be beneficial is to at least get one of these bolts lined up and put into the frame. Now I'm going to use my ratchet and I'm just going to put that in a few threads. And the reason for this here, this is going to allow for us to just simply pivot the pan into place, or the skid plate into place. Now going to tighten it, washer is still loose, pan is still loose. We can go ahead, crank this up into place. Once you get those studs coming through, which they're all visible coming through, come on over to the passenger side and we're going to go ahead and throw in one of the bolts on that side of the frame. Now the pan is secured by 2 bolts. The 4 studs are poking through. Let's go ahead and install the other 4 bolts on the skid plate. Let's go ahead and tighten down our skid plate. Make sure those are good and tight, and do the same for the driver's side. Once we have the skid plate tightened down, we can go ahead and remove the pole jack from the skid plate. Get that out of the way. The transmission is lined up here, so now we can go ahead and remove the pole jack from the transmission. Install the 13mm nuts on the transmission mount. Go ahead and tighten down the nuts. I'm going to make sure these are all good and tight. Once you've tightened these down, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.